My first month coaching, which was January of this year, I made $47,000 cash in the span of 20 days. As you can see here, $41,000 on Fanbasis, $4,500 on Zelle in the span of 20 days. And I did this with under 5,000 followers on Instagram and under 2,000 subscribers on YouTube at the time. Did no CTAs on Instagram, no hard selling to my audience. I ran no ads whatsoever. This was all purely organic based off of these two channels right here. And with all that said, I barely spent any time in the business, max 1 to 3 hours per day, because of the team and systems that I put in place, which I'm going to be showing you guys later on in this video. Now, with that said, if you've seen my content before, you probably know I've scaled multiple info offers to 6 figures plus per month and given away a ton of value on these exact strategies that I used to get these results. However, after becoming the coach myself, I gained a whole new perspective and new pool of knowledge that even making multiple 7 figures for my clients was never able to give me. So this video is going to be all that knowledge. I mean this when I say it. Genuinely, this is the most valuable video that I've ever dropped on this channel. If you are a coach, you are going to walk away with new insights on how to scale your program while spending less time inside of it. And if you're an operator, you're going to get a whole new perspective on scaling your clients' programs without actually having to become a coach yourself, because I've already done the work for you. Now, everyone else has this info behind some insane paywall. Trust me, I understand. But today I'm giving you literally all the value I've learned from multiple 6 figures invested into myself, into teams, programs, mentorships, services, softwares, all that stuff. A year of trial and error in the info space, scaling others and my own offer, all for free in less time than it takes to watch a movie. Okay, so let's get into it. I'm introducing the problem to you guys first so you guys can understand who this video is for. Most coaches are just running their offer off straight vibes with no real structure, terrible systems, and no team in place, which is why they can't scale. And even if they do, they can't stay consistent. Here is every single layer of that problem broken down. Number one, they don't know what kind of Instagram content to post, and same exact thing with YouTube. And they post random Instagram stories with no real structure or sequence at all. They've never seen a DM close in their life. Unfortunately, they watch leads that could have been theirs go work with competitors in the space, which just ties back to having a dialed-in content ecosystem at the end of the day. But later on in this video, I'll show you how I get DM closes for $2,000, $5,000 plus without having to take any sales calls whatsoever. Now, number three, their close rate and their show rate is lower than it should be. And sometimes even worse, they don't even know what these rates are in the first place, let alone their AOV or average order value, their qualified application to booked call rate. If they have sales reps, they can't see each individual sales rep's data in terms of cash collected, close rate, show rate, etc. So they're just flying blind there, not knowing how to make hiring and firing decisions. They don't know which platforms, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, are actually bringing them the cash. And if we go even deeper, they don't even know what exact YouTube videos are bringing them the cash either. They literally just base YouTube video success based off of the views that the video gets. With that said, number four, their onboarding process sucks. They're not getting the correct market research from their paying customers to help them make their content and marketing better. Hopefully their service delivery is decent, but it's most likely lacking in systems and organization, which takes away so much time that could have been spent somewhere higher leverage. And most coaches are doing everything inside the business themselves, so they have no leverage, no team, no systems, and they wonder why they're not scaling. So I know that was a lot, and we're going to get even deeper into these problems as the video progresses. However, I want you to know that if anything that I just mentioned above correlated to you and your situation whatsoever as a coach, watching to the end of this video and while paying attention and taking notes, trust me, will be the best decision that you could possibly make right now, because I'm literally going to show you how to solve all of these problems. Number one, how to know exactly what kind of content to post on Instagram and YouTube to bring consistent inbound leads and booked calls. No guessing, you know exactly what kind of content to post. Number two, the Instagram story sequence strategy that I use, which honestly, so many coaches overlook this. They don't have the proper structure, etc. But for me, it has been the highest converting mechanism across the entire content ecosystem. Number three, the exact positioning, framing, and content structure that lets a brand new offer like mine outperform a more established one with fewer case studies and less time in the game. Number four, how I position myself to get closes in the DMs without having to take sales calls. I showed you this earlier. Number five, every single metric that I'm tracking inside of my business to identify bottlenecks, and I'm going to show you how to improve all of these rates as well. Number six, the exact onboarding process I use to make sure that my clients and students feel welcomed and confident when joining while raising the perceived value of their investment. Number seven, how I cracked out and organized my service delivery to save hours and hours of work and help my students get better and faster results. And finally, number eight, the team I have in place, which is the reason that I do not have to spend my entire day inside of this business, and how this team is what's going to take this offer to multiple 6 figures in the next few months. So I'm genuinely excited. This is going to be super, super insane for you guys. So much value, so much insight. I'm going to be showing you guys the entire content ecosystem that made me $50,000 per month and is the same thing that's going to take me to multiple 6 figures per month. And then after that, I'm going to show you the full offer ecosystem, which basically relies on this as a foundation. So if this is not locked in, then these are not going to work as well. So I'm going to go over everything over here for content, and then the funnel, sales process, tracking, onboarding, service delivery, team scaling, etc. So let's get get into it. Number one, the content ecosystem. I'm going to show you how to crack out your content to obliterate all your competitors. But before we get into the actual content strategy, you must understand a few important key concepts first, because this is the foundation that everything else is built on. The first concept you need to understand is the trust recession, because we are in one right now and it is bad. By definition, this is a significant widespread decline in consumer public confidence in brands, institutions, and in information, which is important because that's kind of what we're selling, characterized by high skepticism, longer sales cycles, which is very important as well because so many people nowadays have long sales cycles because your content sucks and you're not doing things right. Our whole entire goal here with our content is to shorten people's sales cycles so they buy from us faster. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that. And reduce loyalty, driven by misinformation, ethical lapses, even like AI generated content and overhyped marketing. This basically makes consumers feel that everyone is lying, and it forces businesses now to prove their value rather than just promise it. So what this means is that the days of printing cash just by flexing Lamborghinis is over. And along with that, you can no longer win by just being quote unquote authentic. So we have to take a new angle and use a new content strategy in today's market to actually make money. The second concept I need you to understand is the 7-11-4 rule. By definition, based off of Google's research, consumers need 7 hours of interaction with you, 11 touch points, and 4 different platforms to build up enough trust to actually purchase from you. What this means is that the more omnipresent you are, the better. You need to show up on multiple platforms consistently in the right way, not just one. So the challenge here is that we need to find a way to build proper trust with our audience while simultaneously checking off the 7-11-4 rule. We need a system that does both at once, so killing 2 birds with 1 stone. And the solution to that is going to be the content ecosystem. This is an interconnected network of content channels and assets that work together to attract, engage, and convert audiences. It moves beyond the single channel, just like having just TikTok, having just Instagram, having just YouTube, to create a cohesive system that actually works together to get you more sales. So for example, a combination of blog posts, YouTube videos, Instagram Reels, Instagram Stories, all working together towards one motive to get you more sales. So what does this mean for you? With a proper content ecosystem, we can have enough platforms, touch points, and hours of content out there so that we can take a stranger, a complete stranger, and turn them into a high ticket buyer in the shortest amount of time by, again, speeding up that buying cycle. However, this is only possible if we're using the right techniques and posting the right kind of content, which, don't worry, I'm going to show you what exactly that is right now by showing you what worked for me. Your content ecosystem is the single most important piece of this puzzle. Again, it's the foundation to literally everything. So the stronger your foundation, the easier everything else will be. The funnel, the ads, the sales, etc. So let's get into it. The full content ecosystem. I'm going to be covering Instagram Reels, Stories, YouTube, even newsletters, and then also a second Instagram page as well, which these help me so much to make more money with my offer, but no one is really doing them. So let's start over here with Instagram Reels. We're going to get into top of funnel and middle of funnel because bottom of funnel doesn't really technically exist on Instagram. But anyways, we're going to be mixing top of funnel content with middle of funnel content that builds trust, likability, and authority for ourselves and our brand, and targets our dream follower rather than our ICP, which I'll explain what this means. Top of funnel is super important. It is your brand awareness and attention capturing content. Its job is to pull the right kinds of people into your world. So new viewers, new followers, new profile visits by connecting to what they already want, already feel, or already aspire to before they trust you, understand your offer, or even care about your mechanism. So when should you focus on top of funnel content? Always, for sure, always have top of funnel content, but specifically top of funnel content is what you focus on when you have low views and low leads, because a lot of the time not getting sales isn't a sales problem directly. It's just a volume problem. You don't have enough attention and not enough people entering your ecosystem to be nurtured and sold in the first place. So what is top of funnel content doing psychologically? Top of funnel content works because it's designed to trigger 3 things in the viewer. And all these 3 things are necessary if you want someone to follow you, stay interested, and eventually buy from you. Number 1, it creates desire. The first job of top of funnel is to make someone want the outcome or identity that the creator represents. I see so many coaches just providing value without any top of funnel, and they're wondering why they're not getting any sales. It's because your position that you're in doesn't look desirable. You're just in your room 24/7 doing work, not showing any sort of sign of this is an actual good life that I'm living. So the viewers are like, why should I buy from this guy? I don't want to be in his position. So with top of funnel content, it's the viewers seeing the lifestyle, the results, the status, the confidence, the freedom, or environment and thinking, I want that. This is why top of funnel content is usually built around the dream outcomes. It's not trying to teach deep tactics. It's trying to make the end result feel real and desirable. So painting the image for the viewer. Number 2, it creates relatability and connection, which is super important, again, especially in this trust recession that we're in. Top of funnel content also works because it lets the viewer feel like they're getting to know the person behind the brand. It creates a sense of, I understand this person, I like this person feels real to me, this person reminds me of me. In a world full of course sellers, everyone's selling info nowadays, you need to find some way to stand out or you are going to get lost in the crowd. So number 3, it sets the creator apart, the uniqueness side of it. The final job of top of funnel is differentiation. It's what separates the creator from everyone else in the market, like I just mentioned over here. And that's the real power of what a personal brand actually is. So the better the top of funnel is, the more unique and undeniable the creator feels without even needing to explain what they do. So there are formulas to follow to create this kind of content, proper ways to target a specific audience, ways to know if your top of funnel content is working, and easy ways to ideate this content. However, I think those topics will be best fit for a whole separate video. So I'm going to skip it for now and just show you real live examples of how I got results with my top of funnel content. And by the way, this is not just theory, what I'm about to talk about. This is literally based off of data that I've gotten from people, off of sales calls, off of onboarding calls, etc., of them saying, yo, I saw this video and it made me think this and it made me buy because of that, etc. So let's get into it. This first video that we have here is basically me saying this over Miami any day. And it's basically just me showing my house in SoCal, living with my friends. You know, my mom's cooking over here, whatever it is. It's like the quiet life rather than the loud high-rise city life in Miami. This is important for a few reasons. Number 1, because it shows who I am as a person and kind of like my vibe, my personality. People who watch my content now understand that I am someone who is more quiet, more holistic. You know, I'm eating healthy, being healthy, not out partying, drinking, all this crazy stuff. And this is so important. You need to understand this. The content, the personality, the authentic side that you show in your content is going to attract that same kind of person. So everyone inside of my program, I absolutely love because they are similar to me. You know, they're not going out, you know, being degenerate, which is totally fine if you're doing it. I'm just not that kind of person. But it's like, because I'm not showing that, I'm not attracting that person. I'm attracting the person who's similar to me. And so again, like I love all my students because of the fact that I've put out this content so I can attract those people. Number 2, it shows the lifestyle as well. So many entrepreneurs in the space want to, you know, move out with their boys, live in the same house, run it up together, even have like someone making food for them, whatever. This is my lovely mother. I love her. But with that said, right, it's selling that identity, that lifestyle that I was talking about before. Someone sees this and it's like, yo, the business that he is doing, the things that he has done has allowed him to get to this state. I want that life too. He probably has the formula to get here as well. Same thing over here. This is kind of like a funny random top of funnel kind of video. High ticket sales versus TikTok shop. My boys were just fighting. They do those business models, whatever it was. And this again shows the lifestyle that I'm living in this house with my friends, people making money, just being kind of stupid, right? It's like people want to live this lifestyle. They don't want to be locked in their room 24/7 just working. They want to have fun with their boys, mess around while making money at the same time. Over here, I'm with my client that I turned into a millionaire at 17 years old with mentorships. And this shows that, again, I'm getting outside, I'm hanging out with my clients. Bro, who doesn't want to hang out with their clients? Like, how cool is that? So they see this and they're like, yo, I want to be able to hang out with my clients. Again, he might have the blueprint to do that. Over here, POV, you're up $12,000 today. This video is just me kind of sitting on the couch playing Skate 3 with my business partner because we made $12,000 this day and literally didn't have to do too much. We kind of just chilled the whole day because we had a VA, a copywriter, like the whole entire team to take care of literally everything. And so this shows that, again, I'm not locked away in my room 24/7. I have a team in place, which shows a lifestyle of, okay, I can actually go out and do stuff because I have the team in place. People want that. I have the blueprint. Over here, help me decide. This is me moving into a penthouse, and everyone, for the most part, when they first move out, kind of like have that, I want to live in a high-rise penthouse kind of mindset. And so again, it's selling that identity, selling that lifestyle that I was able to do this because of the business model that I am doing. So with that said, that is kind of top of funnel content covered for Instagram. Let's get into middle of funnel content. This content is belief building and objection breaking content. Its job is to move people from, I like this creator, right? Because now they're getting to like you, they're getting to know you, they're getting sold on the identity of everything. But now we need them to get to know, I trust this creator and I am considering taking action. We do this by breaking limiting beliefs, handling objections, and making the audience aware of what's actually holding them back before they ever book a call, join a webinar, or enter the buying process whatsoever. You should always be focusing on middle of funnel content, but especially when you have good views and attention, but you're still seeing resistance in the DMs, low booked calls, or low conversions, because at that point, it's almost never an attention problem. It's a trust, belief, and readiness problem. People are in your world already, but they are not convicted enough to move. So what does middle of funnel content do psychologically? Middle of funnel content works because it changes what the viewer believes. At the top of funnel stage, right, we talked about it, people follow you because they like your world, your identity, your lifestyle, or the outcome that you represent. But at the middle of funnel stage, people don't move forward unless they feel a deeper level of certainty in you and your offer. For example, they need to believe that their current approach is flawed, that their current results make sense, and that there's a clearer path that actually works. This is why middle of funnel content isn't mainly about being entertaining or getting views. It's about making the viewer feel understood. It's about creating those moments where someone watches a piece of content and thinks, oh shoot, that is literally me. That is exactly what's been happening to me. I've never realized that that was the real problem. When middle of funnel content is done correctly, the sales process becomes easier because the content is doing the persuasion for you. So with middle of funnel content, if you're doing it right, by the time they get into a DM or even book a call with you, they're already problem aware. So they know that they have a problem and they already understand that there is a solution. They're just wondering, who is it that can actually guide me? With that said, middle of funnel content has three main psychological jobs. Number one, it breaks limiting beliefs that keep people stuck. It makes people aware of problems they didn't realize were holding them back. And number three, it pre-handles objections before the sales process even begins. An easy way to cover these two is top of funnel is for attention, middle of funnel is for conviction. So again, there is formulas to follow to create this kind of content, proper ways to target a specific audience, ways to know if your middle of funnel content is working, and easy ways to ideate this content as well, which is all already laid out inside my program for my clients and my students. But I'll leave that for another video just because it is information heavy. So let's get into some examples of middle of funnel content that have worked for me and helped me get sales. Do not worry about these freeze frames. I know it's kind of atrocious, but anyways, here is the first video over here. Do not sell mentorships in 2026. Do this instead. This entire video is just breaking down why you need to stop actually selling mentorships and start selling the new opportunity instead, which breaks beliefs for the people who are selling mentorships and instills the new belief, which makes me more of an authority. Over here, I'm breaking limiting beliefs around not hiring a team, showing what hiring a team can do for you and the results that it generated for me. This makes people aware of the problems that they didn't even know they had in the first place. Over here, mentorships are a scam. And even this kind of one right here, they're kind of the same thing. It just talks about me investing into the programs that I've invested into and how it was the best decision that I've ever made inside of my entire life. And it breaks down the objections of people saying like, why should I invest into myself? Oh, things are too expensive, whatever it is. Because I break down the beliefs that people have around not investing and instill new ones that show the results that I've been able to get by investing. Over here, I'm breaking a belief that getting into this as a beginner is not possible. So many people think that getting into this space as a beginner is not even possible, but I was able to do it myself. So I'm sharing that story, breaking those limiting beliefs. Over here, I'm sharing why people can't scale their programs, and it's because they're not tracking specifically on YouTube videos. So they don't know how much cash each individual video is bringing them. So I'm showing the system that I use to do this, which again brings up a problem that they didn't even know they had in the first place. So this is the overview of middle of funnel and top of funnel content for Instagram Reels. I hope you understand this because this is such an important key factor to your entire content ecosystem. So with that said, let's get into Instagram stories. I want to share something with you real quick. And that's that I used to have a terrible misconception that Instagram stories were not important. And so I would post a reel every single day. I would make that a point because that's what I thought was important. But I would not post any stories at all, like maybe a few here and there when I was posting a YouTube video, but not consistent, no structure whatsoever. But it wasn't until after I actually started posting stories that I realized how actually important and overpowered that they were. I'm telling you, as soon as I started posting stories, I started getting so many more inbounds. And obviously from that, I made so much more money. Here's just a few examples right here for a YouTube video, 90 replies over here for a newsletter, 153 replies that my DM setter can then go and talk to and try and funnel into the calendar. This is around 250 people that I wouldn't have been in conversations with if I didn't simply just do stories and CTAs. And the reason that Instagram stories are so important, which I had to figure out for myself, is that reels equal attention and stories equal conversion, which is why together they are such a power duo, but separate, they are not nearly as powerful. Understand this, posting daily on stories is actually higher ROI compared to posting daily on reels. And this is because stories allow a type of personal connection that reels and really everything else does not allow you to have. I'm going to explain this. Instagram stories are the closest equivalent that you can have to a real one-on-one conversation. Your audience is not scrolling, they're not comparing you, they're not reading comments. Instead, they're full screen, completely immersed into what feels like a FaceTime call. Psychologically, this activates and strengthens parasocial bonding. If you don't know what parasocial bonding is, it's a one-sided psychological connection an individual forms with a media figure, celebrity, influencer, or fictional character, etc., while the follower invests time and emotional energy, the figure is usually unaware of their existence. You probably have seen this happen with yourself even, watching TV shows or whatever, or even seen it, people doing it, towards you having this parasocial relationship with you. It's kind of a scary thing. I can't lie. It's really, really weird, but it is a marketing strategy. If you can nail parasocial bonding, make it stronger, you will make more money. When someone sees you every day, your face, they watch your mannerisms, they learn your opinions, your beliefs, your values, your morals, they hear your voice, observe your lifestyle, witness your struggles and wins, their brain begins to process you as a part of their social world, even if you have never met. And this makes it easier for them to buy from you. There's a whole entire long list of psychological information that goes into this, but just understand that stories are one of, if not the best ways to strengthen the effects of parasocial bonding with your audience, which just means it makes it easier for them to buy from you. Now, this is more for those kind of FaceTime style reels or stories, but there's tons of different formats that you can use on stories, the same as reels. Another prime example of why stories are so important is because it builds authority through proximity. You need to understand that authority is built through repetition, constantly showing wins, all these things, not virality. You want people to think this person actually does this, they live this, they are legit, not because of one viral reel, but because of consistent proximity to you. The more someone sees your daily life, the more believable that your success becomes, and believability drives buying decisions. There's so many coaches I see who have the ability to document what they're doing live on their stories or show, student onboarding calls, etc., but they're not doing it because they don't understand this concept. So using this information, what I did was constantly posting wins. Me getting a ton of booked calls through my content, students getting $2,500 setup fees, getting 1,000 DMs in the span of 2 days, or more student wins, or even more personal wins, hitting $10,000 personal days. The more results you can just constantly show on your story just builds so much connection and conviction in you and your product because of the proximity that it is providing to these viewers. Along with this, stories lower the barrier or friction to DM because story viewers already feel connected. DMing you doesn't feel like messaging a stranger. It feels like replying to someone that they've been talking to all week, and that emotional closeness reduces friction. The lower friction that you have, the more inbound leads that you get. So now that you understand all these concepts, let's get into an actual real strategy that you can use effectively for your stories. This made me $50,000 a month and 3x'd one of my clients' views to $45,000 in less than a week before a launch that we had so that we were able to hit $100,000 that month. Rule of thumb here is give more than you take. You always want to be mixing up your stories. If you're constantly doing call to actions or anything repetitively, even if it's posting student wins, if it's repetitive, people will start ignoring your stories because they can predict what is coming. We need them to be anticipating what's next so they feel the need to click on your story. There may even be a few people on your Instagram homepage where you see their story and you feel the need to click it rather than someone else who you're like, I already know it's coming. I don't feel the need to click on it anymore. So here is the structure that I have been using and my clients use, and it works really, really good. Monday, post a client result with a direct call to action to DM you. This is a hard CTA where it's like DM me if you want this, and it's usually like selling them on the program. They understand that. Tuesday, provide value and help them understand why they haven't achieved their goal yet. You really, really want to dig into their pain points here and help them realize that they need to make a change if they want to get the results. You want to break limiting beliefs and give them new ones here. Wednesday, share a personal story that will inspire your audience. This could be future goals, a story about when you took a big risk, or anything on your personal journey. For example, here, I'm talking about how building in public is scary, but it's the best thing that you can do if you want to push yourself harder. Thursday, post your own wins. Show a payment screenshot, a personal achievement, or anything that demonstrates your success. Don't just show client wins, show yours too, because again, we're building that desired state, that identity around you that these people want to also have. Friday, soft call to action for people to DM you for a free resource. This is less direct and less salesy than Monday's approach. So, YouTube videos, documents, whatever you want to give them. Saturday and Sunday, post whatever you want. Develop the habit of creating your own content ideas. Just main thing is be flexible with the structure. The goal is to create a habit of posting stories that constantly nurture your audience. So when you do post a call to action, you get more people responding. Understand that the more stories you post with the right strategy, the more opportunity that you are opening for yourself. All right, so that is Instagram stories. Please, guys, please do not overlook this. Understand that Instagram Reels will get you the views, but if you're not consistently posting these stories with this structure, you will not get nearly as many conversions as you possibly could. So lock in with this. When I started using this, I started making so much more money, so you can as well if you just do it the way that I just taught you, okay? So now we will get into YouTube. I have a ton of sauce for you guys here. It's genuinely insane. Don't worry, we will get into the offer ecosystem soon where I'll teach you guys all these things down here. If you're falling asleep, wake up, let's get to it, get your notes out, stay locked in because I have so much sauce for you guys. Genuinely, it is insane. But let's get into it. YouTube overview. One of the reasons YouTube is so important is because it ties back to the 7-11-4 rule, which I talked about earlier. YouTube is pretty much the only platform where you can effectively pull off the 7 hours of watch time that someone needs to become a buyer. Because on Instagram, it's like 500 plus short form reels you need to watch to reach 7 hours. YouTube, it can be around 4 to 7 videos if you're doing longer style videos. However, for someone to watch 7 hours of your content on YouTube, you need to build what is called a binge-worthy channel. And I'm going to explain what this is very soon and how to pull it off. First, you need to think of your content as a 3-step bridge. Over here, we have the beginning of the bridge, which is the top of funnel, which gets them onto the bridge. This is short form content. So reels, stories, carousels. This captures attention fast and sparks just enough curiosity to make someone want more. This is just pure awareness. They don't actually know you yet. In the middle, on the actual bridge itself, we have the middle of funnel, and this is what's walking them all the way across the bridge. So this is long form videos where we're building trust. Viewers spend 10, 20, 60 plus minutes with you, and they get to know how you think, how you teach, what you stand for. By the end, they are not a stranger to you anymore. Long form videos is where the trust is built because viewers spend 10 to 60 plus minutes with you. They get to know how you think, know how you teach, what you stand for, and by the end, they are not a stranger anymore. So to get them to watch 7 hours of our content, we need to have a binge-worthy channel. It's not the hardest thing to do. You just need to make sure that you have some kind of diversity in your content, and other pieces of content lead to other pieces of content as well. For example, let me take this one. I made $1.5 million with a call funnel exposing everything. I shared literally everything that I did to make millions of dollars with the book a call funnel. But when it came to tracking, that's a whole separate video that I could have made. So I kind of just mentioned another video that I made in the past, which was this one. So then I funnel people from this video over to this video, and then they watch this one, learn about tracking. Then boom, maybe they want to know how to improve their show rate. So then I link them over to how to improve your show rate. So then they watch this video, and now they've spent, an hour and 30 minutes with me. Then they start to understand the business model a little bit more. Maybe they see a video like this where it's how identity shifting made me $85,000 this month at 18. And then they're like, okay, cool. Now I understand the mindset. Wait, he also invested $300,000 into his business as well. What did he invest into? Like, I want to learn this. Oh, wait, his student got insane results as well. Let me go watch this video over here. Oh, wait, another student got insane results. Let me watch this one. Oh, he said you need to make content to make money as a growth operator in this video. Oh, wait, there's a whole entire video explaining why right here. Wait, I kind of like this guy and what he teaches, but I don't really know him that much. Like, what is he doing a day to day? Oh, there's a whole entire vlog showing exactly what he's doing day to day. Wait, he FaceTimed this client in this video and he said he made $40,000 in a week. Wait, there's a whole entire interview of him breaking this down. You guys get the point. You're just cross-referencing videos over to each other and being the source of information. You guys need to understand that if you are not the source of information and you're leaving some information out on the table, they're going to go to someone else, find their channel, get stuck in their funnel and their binge-worthy channel, and you then lose that lead. If you can have all the information on your channel so that they can binge going back and forth and stay on your channel for as long as possible, that's when you can actually get them to watch 7 hours of content and choose you as their only option to go with. So with that said, on the end of the bridge, right, YouTube is bringing them through these 7 hours. They're getting to understand you, the offer, breaking limiting beliefs, all this stuff here. You walk them across the bridge and they make it to the offer, which is the bottom of funnel, which is waiting on the other side of the bridge. So this is your course, your service, your product, your mentorship, whatever it is, the call. The person arriving here already trusts you. They've watched your videos, absorbed your thinking, and the sale feels natural, not pushy. So YouTube is in the middle of this bridge, right? We have Instagram on the left for attention and curiosity, YouTube in the middle for trust and relationship, and then we'll get into the offer soon, which converts to actual buyers. The reason long form wins is because with short form, 15 to 60 seconds or even 120 seconds is not enough time to actually change someone's mind. You can't build a deep emotional, you can't sell your unique mechanism, you can't break limiting beliefs thoroughly, you can't explain complex ideas with real depth. With YouTube, which is 15 minutes to an hour, you get real time with your viewer enough to actually move them. Tell the full story your way, explain why the opportunity matters, show exactly why your approach works, build enough trust to actually sell. Now, there are 3 questions that your YouTube content must answer. When someone is evaluating whether to work with a coach, they are really only asking these 3 questions. Is this an opportunity that I want to do or take? Does it make sense based off my problem and desires? Is this someone that I actually want to spend time with? Do I like how they think? Do they seem like someone I'd get along with? Could I see myself in a coaching relationship with them? And do they have proof that their method works? Have they helped people like me? Do they seem credible and competent? Will I actually get the outcome that I want? So how do you answer all these questions effectively effectively and efficiently. It's with the 4 content types. When it comes to YouTube, you only need 4 content types. Everything that you post will fall into one of these categories, and each category has a specific job once you understand them. At this point, content planning becomes super simple, repeatable, and scalable. So what are the 4 types? We have raw sit downs, which build connection, vlogs, which build the identity and lifestyle, value talking head and breakdowns, which build the authority, and case studies, which build the proof. Each format is pushing the viewer closer to being ready to buy, and each format does this in a different way. Each way I just explained up here, but basically when you combine all 4, you cover every single reason that someone would say yes, and you naturally eliminate the reason that they would say no. So let's get into the 4 content types that you should be posting that I posted this month to help me actually get these sales. Number 1 is raw sit downs. Raw sit down videos are the lowest edit, most personal style of YouTube content. This is where you sit down and talk directly to the camera in a real way. No heavy scripting, no fancy production, no like teacher mode. It should feel like the viewer is sitting across from you, hearing the real version of you. And the purpose here of a raw sit down is simple. It's just building connection. These videos make people feel like they know you, understand you, and can trust you. They turn a viewer into someone who feels emotionally bought in. Raw sit downs work because there are certain things you cannot communicate through value breakdowns. You can't tell a real story, explain a turning point, or talk about a deep belief shift in a structured how-to format, but you can in a raw sit down. This is also one of the best formats for building loyalty because it makes people feel like they're a part of your journey instead of just consuming information. Raw talks do best when you tell a story, talk about a lesson learned the hard way, explain a belief shift, share something personal that ties back into the business, and speak directly to a specific type of person. At the end of the day, raw sit downs sell the person. They make the viewer think, I like this guy, I trust this guy, and I want to learn from this guy. After I told my story in a raw sit down format, as you can see here, I made $10.5 thousand in the span of 20 hours, as you can see here. Now let's get into vlogs. Vlogs are the most powerful YouTube format for selling the lifestyle and identity behind the brand. A vlog is essentially behind the scenes. It's a day in the life, a trip, a routine, a business moment, a win, a loss, but shown through the lens of your world. The purpose of vlogs is not education. The purpose of vlogs is to make the viewer feel like they're stepping into your environment, because that creates a deeper level of familiarity and attachment, because people aren't just hearing what you say, they're seeing exactly how you live. Vlogs work extremely well because they naturally show your standards, your habits, your discipline, your lifestyle, your circle, your day-to-day, kind of similar to the top of funnel content that I talked about on Instagram. And those things create aspiration without you even needing to say anything. And this is why vlogs tend to attract a lot of dream followers. Even if someone doesn't fully understand your business yet, they can still want the outcome and the lifestyle. Vlogs do best when you show routine, so gym, work, calls, content, team, whatever it is. Show environment, your house, city, travel, office setup. Show social proof moments, wins, client deals, payments, and show your personality and relationships. So friends, team, brotherhood, even family, etc. At the end of the day, vlogs are selling the world. They make the viewer think, I want that, right? The identity, it's selling the identity as well. I want to live like that. I want to be in that circle, right? Vlogs are the most powerful YouTube format for selling the lifestyle and identity behind the scenes. I've had so many students that bought from me that watch this vlog, for example, and are like, bro, you have exactly what I want. I want to live with my boys, my entrepreneur friends in a house. You have that. I want the blueprint on how to get there. Next, we have number 3, value talking head / breakdowns. This is where you build the actual authority. This is the format where you sit down and teach. You break down frameworks, strategies, systems, processes, and step-by-step concepts. It can be casual or structured, but the purpose is the same, to prove that you actually know what it is that you are doing and teaching. This is the format that makes the viewer stop seeing you as a content creator and start seeing you as an actual expert, someone that they could see themselves buying from. Value talking head / breakdown videos work because they install belief in your mechanism. They show the viewer that there is a real method behind the results that you've generated, and that you understand the why behind that works, the framework that they can use as well to get the same results. This is also the format where you can break limiting beliefs, make people aware of what they're missing, reframe their current situation, and show the right way to do something, similar to the middle of funnel content on Instagram. These videos sell the brain. Value talking head breakdowns do best when you teach one framework clearly, break down a system step by step, explain why most people fail, reveal the real bottleneck that they're facing, and show the process behind the result. At the end of the day, these videos sell the brain. They make the viewer think, this guy is actually smart. He understands what he's talking about and how he got the results that he's gotten. And this is deeper than what I've seen before. This format makes the viewers stop seeing you as a content creator again and start seeing you as an expert, someone that they want to buy from. So example here, like breaking down how to buy a Lambo, selling mentorships, 24-day speed run. This is just me showing the exact launch process that I use with my clients to make a lot of freaking money for him to buy a Lamborghini. Number 4, and the final one, is case studies. These are so freaking important. I cannot explain it enough. This is what will actually make you so much money on YouTube. This is where you show results in a way that feels undeniable. Case studies work because they remove the doubt. And at the end of the day, the viewer has 2 questions before they buy. Do I like and trust this person? And number 2, do I believe that this works? Case studies answer the second question better than any other format out there. The best case studies are not just look at this result. They are story-based. They show who the person was before, what the problem was, what changed, what the process looked like, what the result was, why it worked, etc. This is why case studies convert so hard, because they allow the viewer to project themselves into this story. They think, if he helped them, he can help me as well. Case studies do best when you show transformation clearly, explain the process behind the win, highlight the key decisions and systems, address objections through the story, and show what it looks like to work with you. At the end of the day, case studies sell the proof. They make the viewer think, this is real, this works, I need this. Again, it removes doubt and strengthens certainty better than any other format. So quick recap, raw sit downs build the deepest trust and connection, sells the person. Vlogs sell the lifestyle, identity, and world behind the brand, sells the world. Value talking heads, breakdowns, builds the authority and installs the belief in your system, sells the brain. Case studies remove doubt and strengthen conviction by proving the results are real, sells the brain. When you rotate these 4 consistently, you cover every reason someone would say yes, and naturally, again, eliminate every single reason that they would possibly ever say no. One more thing I need you to keep in mind when it comes to posting content anywhere, especially on YouTube, is awareness levels. Your market has a huge pool of people, which consists of 5 subpools. But the problem is most coaches are missing out on so much money because they're only targeting 1 or 2. So they're missing out on a whole entire market or multiple markets of potential buyers because they don't understand awareness levels. So we need to make different pieces of content that targets each awareness stage so that we can bring people through the whole pipeline to maximize leads and maximize cash. There are 5 awareness levels. We have unaware, problem aware, solution aware, product aware, and most aware, which is ready to buy. However, this again is one of those kind of sub-tangent topics. I want to keep this video going over everything I did to hit $50,000 my first month of coaching rather than going into all the intricacies of the content ecosystem. If this video gets good engagement though, and we have some comments below showing intent of wanting a whole breakdown on the entire content ecosystem, I will gladly go ahead and make that. So if you are one of those coaches who wants that, go ahead, leave a comment below. My Instagram DMs are also open. If you have any questions, the link is in the description for my Instagram if you want to follow me or message me there. By the way, if you are a coach looking to scale your coaching program, I do actually run an agency and consulting program, which will either literally set up this whole entire content ecosystem and the offer ecosystem, which I'm sharing later on in this video, completely done for you, or consulting on how you can do it as well. If you're interested in that, and again, you are a serious coach who is looking to scale your offer and you have the funds set aside ready and willing to invest into something like this, there is a link below where you can book a call with me to see if you are a good fit. However, let's get into the next step in the content ecosystem, which is the newsletter. Okay. This is so underused. It really ties into the 7-11-4 rule, which is super important, and it's 0 extra hours on your end, which is amazing. So let me get into it. This is something that I don't see really any coaches doing at all, which is a problem if you are trying to make more money, because this one thing contributed to a decent amount of our sales. I'll tell you why in just a second. Remember again, the 7-11-4 rule, the more touch points that you can have, the more platforms that you use, and the more time your audience can spend with you, the more money that you will make. A newsletter is such a genius way to strengthen your 7-11-4 because it speeds up the sales cycle for some of your leads while not really taking any extra time on your end. With pretty much every other platform, you know this, you have to spend time filming videos, but the beauty of a newsletter is that it's taken from existing content, so you don't have to spend any extra time doing the filming. And this is so powerful because you can get an entire long form asset out without having to do anything personally. So here's my workflow on how I actually pull this off and what this even is in the first place. First of all, I have my copywriter script the whole entire newsletter for me by basically using an idea that I've already posted on YouTube, Instagram, whatever it is. Maybe he'll ask for some more context for a voice note. Typically the video already has all the information inside of it, but max it's a 5-minute voice note where you're just explaining more context. So he scripts that out. Then the VA takes the Google Doc and uploads everything into Kit, which is the software for the email service. Then the copywriter scripts a story sequence to actually market the newsletter on my Instagram story. And my VA creates these story slides and posts it to my story for me. So this way I literally don't have to do anything. I have everything done for me by my team and I'm getting replies and DMs and closed calls from this, having to do literally nothing extra myself. This little system here with this team member in place, me not having to do anything, is just a sneak peek of what we're going to get into later in the video in terms of showing you how I only spend 1 to 2 to 3 hours a day actually running this business. So make sure you stay for that because it's going to be some insane sauce. However, that is it for the newsletter. This is very beneficial if you can do it right and you have the right team members, because again, it helps with the 7-11-4 rule and just helps speed up these sales cycles for your audience. So let's get into the second Instagram page as well. This is something that is very overlooked. Not even overlooked. Some people just don't even know what this is in the first place, but this has also helped us get sales. So let's get into it. This is basically a page that you would put in your bio where it's like, founder at, and then whatever your program is called. And this is a page where we are spamming client results and student results. This is a bottom of funnel content asset without having to hard sell. This builds believability in your offer and makes it easier to book a call and buy from you. Again, I don't see really anyone doing this, which is a problem because the overall theme I hope that you're starting to understand now is that if we want to make more money, we need to shorten these sales cycles of our audience. The second page allows us to do that because of the massive proof and trust that it builds. All we're basically doing here is spamming client and student results, and it's a way to have bottom of funnel on Instagram without forcing it down people's throats. This again builds more believability in our offer, which makes it easier for someone to book a call and buy. So the structure of this is basically, okay, founders, who's the founder? What exactly do you do? What is the result that you've been able to generate for yourself or your clients, your students, whatever it is? And then a calendar link right here. You can buy followers, but you're basically just spamming results. And then you can add a little carousel here of your story so that people can actually understand how you got the results that you did, etc., why you're even doing this program in the first place. And something that I did different, which I haven't really seen anyone else do, is adding the offer in the story highlights. So you can see the 4 pillars of what our program actually does for people, and then the apply here. And then after this, there is specific highlights for students that have multiple results. So you basically just take their post it on your story, and then highlight it inside of their specific section for their specific results. This is a genius way to get more sales. We've had students that literally came to this page, saw all the results, and were like, bro, I just need to book a call at this point. Like, there's just so many results in your face at this point. You just have to. So do this, build this. This is another really, really good asset page to have inside of your content ecosystem. So with all of these things dialed, your content ecosystem should be pretty freaking powerful. However, with just a content ecosystem alone, we won't make much or even any money at all. We have a few more things that we need to have in place to maximize cash, efficiency, time, and even student results. Before I get into it though, I genuinely hope that you guys took notes on what I talked about above, because your content ecosystem is the foundation to your entire business, and everything else that I'm about to talk about depends on it. Okay, so please understand the content ecosystem. If you weren't really paying attention above, I would genuinely highly recommend that you rewatch it and actually take notes before we get into this next section. So please understand this, make sure you have notes on this, or else this is all gonna flop. But in expectation that you understand this now, let's get into the full offer ecosystem, starting over here with the funnel. So we have our short form, we went over that, we went over YouTube. Now we are in the sales mechanism or funnel where we're actually converting these prospects that we have inside of our audience. Our funnel is our sales mechanism. As I just mentioned, it is really the only true bottom of funnel we have. You could technically consider some IG or YouTube content as bottom of funnel, but most of the time, everything falls into top of funnel or middle of funnel if it is not a sales mechanism or funnel. Before I get into the 2 funnels that I use to get my results and the whole entire pre-call process, plus how I built the funnel, etc., I need you to understand one very, 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 very important key factor, and that is targeting the right ICP. I will tell you this right now. After being in the info space for over a year and working with a ton of broke people, a ton of people who have some money, and a ton of people who have a lot of money and make a lot of money, rich and established people are way easier and way more fun to work with. They already understand that they need to invest in themselves. You don't have to break all these limiting beliefs. So you won't have to waste your time handling all these objections. They're easier to teach. You just tell them and they get it done. They work with speed. There's no really hand holding that they need or motivational speeches of like, yo, bro, you don't give up because of this, that, whatever. They're already established. They know that they shouldn't give up. And it's easier to make more more money with more money. On the other hand, we have broke people or beginners, which is the complete opposite of everything I just mentioned. It is not as fun from firsthand experience. There's more time wasted on objection handling and hand holding, making sure that they don't give up, all this stuff. You get slower results with them, more problems, less money to actually invest in themselves and invest in their businesses to help it grow, etc. Now, I don't hate broke people. I love them with my whole heart. I know a lot of broke people and I still love them, etc. Life is not just based off of money, okay? However, in business, it is just simply easier and more fun. And, there's just less problems when you're working with people who have more money in the first place. So with this in mind, when I started this program, I knew that to make the most money while dealing with the least amount of problems and spending the least amount of time in the business, I had to target a non-beginner ICP. Ideally, someone already making decent money with the business model who was looking to scale. And this was perfect because I was that ICP for so long. At one point, I was stuck at $10,000 to $15,000 a month for 6 months straight. Then I implemented the right systems and team, jumped to $30,000 a month, then to $101,000 a month in the span of 2 months. I had the exact blueprint that these established business owners needed to scale. So that's who I targeted. And that's why I achieved the results that I did. So let's get into that. What does this actually look like? How did I target these people? What did I do for this? First funnel we have out of the 2 funnels is the VSL funnel. The VSL funnel is an evergreen funnel, which means it's always up and running. You're typically just having it in your YouTube descriptions or bio, but it can also be in other places like at the end of newsletters, for example. It is an amazing funnel, especially if your content ecosystem is dialed, because if done right, it allows consistent, high quality booked calls with a very high show rate and close rate. So here's the strategy that I talked about before in terms of targeting that, non-beginner kind of established ICP. I have a headline that calls out the ICP. It is direct towards their desire, which simultaneously scares away the people that we don't want in our funnel. As you can see here, I'm literally calling out, growth operators stuck at $3,000 to $20,000 a month. This is not beginner wise. I'm calling out a big desired state, 30 to 50K a month. This is not 10K a month targeting beginners. I'm targeting existing business owners that want to scale because that they are stuck. So the qualification literally starts before they even watch the video. And this works based off data. This is not theory. I've literally had multiple people text me saying, yo, I didn't book because I saw who you were targeting. However, could you still help me out, etc. Number 2, the VSL itself, which goes over who this is for, who this is not for, explaining the opportunity and the offer. This is a very direct VSL because the ICP, again, is already problem and solution aware. They're just looking for the right someone to actually help them scale. Now, again, there are a ton of best practices and frameworks when it comes to writing VSLs. However, I don't want to turn this into a how to script a VSL video. And again, I already have all these best practices and frameworks for my students and my clients, but maybe I'll make a YouTube video on this soon. Probably not, to be honest. Number 3, direct calendar, not application. Why a direct calendar instead of an application, you might be asking? There's 3 reasons which all tie into the fact of just lowering the friction. The lead flow is not insane enough to need to raise friction, number 1. There is no sales team other than a closer. So, there's no reason to have an application to get extra leads and stuff like that. There's no sales team other than a closer because they're not needed. And number 3, we have a few qualifying questions on the calendar, which kind of leads to anyone who books a call being pretty much already ready to buy. And this question is simply just by adding, if you have under 3K USD, you are not financially qualified to work with us, do not book. However, this, in terms of, thinking that people are pretty much already ready to buy from you if they book in, is not a good mindset to have. We never want to assume that people who book a call are ready to buy. We want to think that they are just curious, right? Which is why we have a cracked out pre-call process, which I will be getting into very, very soon after the DM funnel. But that is the VSL funnel. Honestly, pretty simple. Having this in place is what made me so much money through my YouTube channel. But the DM funnel is where things really changed for me and made me a lot more money as well. So let me explain this. The DM funnel is also an evergreen funnel, which is ran through Instagram. This is also another amazing funnel and is super powerful if you have these 3 things locked in. Number 1, your content ecosystem. Number 2, you're consistently posting the right kind of stories. And number 3, you have a dialed in DM setter. All the DM setter is doing is managing your DMs. So handling inbound DMs, if they're qualified, getting them on the calendar, as you can see here, or doing warm outbound. So reaching out proactively to people who like your posts, who follow you, etc. There is probably so much money that you're missing out inside of your DMs. Number 1, if you're not posting stories right, you're not even getting people into the DMs correctly. Number 2, if your DM setter sucks, you don't have a proper strategy, you are missing out on so much money. As soon as I got a dialed in DM setter, started posting more stories, I started making so much money from the DMs. And again, even getting DM closes for $5,000 with no sales calls. There is an entire strategy for this, which my done for you and consulting clients get access to when they work with me. In this video, I'm not going to go over it for time's sake. Maybe I'll make a different video on this another time. However, with that said, now we have our 2 funnels in place, which are the only 2 funnels that I use to make this money. Now we want to have a dialed in pre-call page, which again is because when people book a call, we don't want to assume they're ready to buy. buy, we want to come into it with the mindset that they're simply just curious. However, we don't want them to hop on a call still in their curious state. We want them to hop on a call in a ready to buy state. And even before getting them into the ready to buy state, we need to get them into the I need to show up state. So the question is, how do we get them from their curious state to I need to show up and I am ready to buy? Answer: by giving them as much information as possible before their call to help them make their decision, rather than wasting time on the call giving this info. One very important contribution to this transformation is the pre-call page. So here is the strategy. Here's exactly what you should have on your pre-call page. Number one is the confirmation video. You're basically clearing the path for steps that they need to take before the call and setting expectations for the call as well. Then the offer breakdown video, helping them understand your offer, how you work and deliver your service or whatever it is. The call confirmation instructions on confirming the call so that they actually show up. We found that people who don't click yes on this are 10 times more likely to not show up to the call. So just making sure that they do this, they know how to do it. Breakout videos, answering FAQs and breaking limiting beliefs, objections before the call, and results and case studies, building more trust and proof in the offer and product before they even get on the call in the first place. Quick tip for building your funnel. This is just some random sauce I wanted to add in here for you guys because I love you. Build with Replit. There's no need to waste time inside of funnel builders. You can literally just prompt AI to do it for you. My funnel was built super easily. I literally just gave it one prompt and the information it needed, like the stuff for the videos, whatever it was. And it just built the whole entire thing in a matter of minutes. And you can also build your own custom dashboards just by asking it to do so to track VSL analytics. For example, like total visitors by day, device breakdown, top locations. Out of the people who are booking calls, what percent of the VSL do they watch, etc. Booked calls by day. You can also see down here the UTMs that they're coming from, so the YouTube videos, stuff like that. And you can see each individual lead as well. People who are booking, 0% watched here. This guy watched 63%, but exited. Why is that? You can make decisions based off of this. So go ahead, use Replit. It's cheap. It's fire. I'm not getting paid for this whatsoever. It's just genuinely, I spend so much time inside of Go High Level building funnels, and I found out recently that you can do this, and it changed my life. And it looks so freaking beautiful as well. So yeah, go ahead and use that if you want to build your funnels. Anyways, let's get into the sales process. Most coaches have terrible pre-call emails and SMS, and I'm just looking at it and I'm like, bro, what are you saying here? It doesn't make any sense. Like, it's just stupid because with proper pre-call emails and SMS, you can easily up your show rate and close rate. And this ties back to the idea of giving leads who book in a call as much information as possible before their call so they can make their decision before even hopping on their call. This is the second way out of 3 ways that we use to do this. So we do 3 emails a day for 3 days, as you can see here inside the Calendly. Here are some email headline examples that we use. My first 10K PIF, which breaks a limiting belief around getting upfront fees. A student interview, how Oscar went from 15K to 30K a month. This tracking system logs everything, so showing inside the product what it actually looks like. And then we have SMS being sent to them at 4 different touch points before the call. 24 hours out, 6 hours out, 1 hour out, and when the appointment is live. It's honestly a super simple message, nothing insane. And the third and final way we give leads as much information as possible before the call is by using the group chat method. If you are a solo coach, you just do a one-on-one chat. If you have a setter or a closer or whatever on your offer, you could do a group chat. Either way, it's the same exact principles. You're just creating a group chat. And for best practice, if you have their Instagram, which we get it like on the calendar when they book in, you can use Instagram. Or if they are international, if you just have their phone number, you can use WhatsApp. If they are in the US and you have their number, you can use a regular SMS. In this group chat or one-on-one chat, we are digging into their pain through voice notes, getting like the full context and just going a little bit deeper in their situation. We're also figuring out if they have any other main questions before the call and even dropping some assets before the call as well. So that when you get to the sales call, at this point, if they make it to the sales call, they should honestly be pre-sold and ready to buy, which turns this call into a cash collection call. You're literally turning your closer or yourself into a cashier rather than a closer because you're not handling objections, explaining the offer, doing all this crazy stuff. They already got all that information before the call. If you go to my business partners page, you'll literally see that you got a 15-minute close because it doesn't have to explain anything. The content and the pre-call process does literally everything for us. And there have been cases where people book a sales call and go through our pre-call process, our page, our group chat, etc., and they just ask for the link straight up without even having to hop on the sales call. Imagine you're looking at that call, you're like, dang, okay, I got to spend an hour on this call with this person, handle objections. It's going to be, a huge waste of my time and energy. And then they hit you with a, yo, bro, let me just pay right now in the DMs PIF. Imagine that inside of your head. That is what having this process and the right content ecosystem in place can actually do for you. Now let's get into tracking metrics. This is something that I don't see many coaches doing at all. Another thing, again, that you guys are not doing. And if you are probably not doing it to its fullest ability or even properly in the first place. Tracking metrics is something that is not it would be nice to have. It is genuinely, and I mean this when I say it from the bottom of my heart, a mandatory if you are actually trying to scale. Without tracking, you are flying blind. You don't know what you need to change or improve. You are guessing every single decision. With tracking, every single bottleneck is visible. You know exactly where every bottleneck is and what to improve so you can make data-informed decisions to scale fast. So what do we track and how do we improve it? I have a whole video on my page already up on this. It's called This Tracking System Made My Book a Call Funnel $1 million plus. Just copy me. If you want to watch that, it'll go more in depth. Right now, I'll go over the quick overview of what we track and how to improve it as well. This is for one of my clients' offers. We are tracking revenue, cash collected after fees, cash collected per call taken, average order value. So basically out of everyone who pays you, what is the average amount that they're paying you? Total calls confirmed compared to total live calls, your close rate, your show rate. You can also filter all this data by source. So I can see how much Instagram has made me compared to YouTube, check my close rate and show rate per YouTube and Instagram as well. Maybe my Instagram show rate and close rate is insanely low. My YouTube is way higher. Then I can make the decision, let me start sending leads to YouTube before I let them book on a call, for example. You can see everything by date as well. So let's say, last month in January, we did $50,000 and we had 80% close rate. Next month, we did $100,000 with the same rates as well. Why do we make more? What strategies did we do different? Did we change our sales process? Why are we making more money? You can see that based off of dates. You can also track sales rep data as well. So how much cash they're collecting, their revenue, their close rate, their show rate for setters as well. And even content, you can track how much cash each individual YouTube video has made you and is making you. If you're running an application to book a call, you can track your funnel metrics. So total applications, qualified applications, unqualified, partial submits, total booked calls, qualified application to booked call rate, cancel call rate, confirmed call rate from booked calls, and dialing tracking. You can track your pickup rate, set rate out of total calls, set rate out of pickups, total calls, total pickups, total sets, working hours, hang up rate, qualified but not set rate, etc. This is just the basics of things that we track. If you want to improve, I'm telling you right now, every single one of these rates on here that would be beneficial if you improved it. Obviously, you don't want to improve your no-show rate. You would want to improve this rate, right? But every single metric that you would want to improve and every metric that you would want to, have lower can be improved or lowered by making better content. This is why this is so freaking important. This full content ecosystem, the more you have this locked in, the more money you'll make, the higher your close rate will be, the higher your show rate will be, the easier it'll be for your sales reps to, close these deals, the easier for you it'll be to close these deals, the more booked calls you'll get. Everything is just 10 times better with a dialed in content ecosystem. When it comes to total close rate, again, if you just use these processes that we talked about earlier, the right sales process, the right funnel, etc., your close rate will go up. Same thing with the show rate. If your qualified application to booked call rate is low, for example, you can literally make this 100% by embedding the Calendly on the type form so they have to book a call if they want to apply. If your average order value is insanely close to your actual offer price, you might want to consider raising your price a little bit. I go a lot more in depth on the tracking video on my YouTube channel, so if you want more information on this, you can check that out. But for now, that is tracking metrics. Let's get into the onboarding process. Onboarding is, again, another thing that is insanely overlooked by coaches. However, with the right onboarding process, you save hours of time because automations handle literally everything, so you don't have to do it manually every time. It gives your students a warm welcome, which reinforces their buying decision and kills buyer's remorse before it even starts. And you get results faster for your students. They have everything that they need to hit the ground running from day one. So here's the whole onboarding process and automations that I use for my offer and my onboarding process. Number one, as soon as a call is taken, the closer, or if I'm taking the call, will fill out this post-call form. Basically just saying, okay, this lead was closed, no close, didn't show up, deposit is qualified, whatever. If we're doing the onboarding, it's closed, right? Live call, if they piffed or if they split paid, their fan basis email, how much cash collected, revenue, their payment platform, their Discord username, their call recording, the closer name, the objections, and the feedback for the appointment. This updates our tracking inside of our Airtable so we can see our total show rate and our total close rate for our offer. As soon as this form is submitted, this automatically triggers a few things. Number one, our tracking gets updated so we can see our total show rate and our total close rate. Number two, it updates our Trello board. So as soon as a new student joins and we fill out this form, it adds them into week one of the program. So we can see, okay, this person's in week one. We can see the revenue we've collected from them. So the total offer price, how much cash we've collected from them. We can see their name. We can also see a few more things inside of here, which I'll get into inside of service delivery. And then it also updates them inside of our pipeline in the closed channel and sends them a contract to fill out as well. Then we send them the onboarding page and form. So a quick video to welcome them into the program and a quick onboarding form, which honestly isn't that quick because we have a ton of information information inside of here that we get from them to help them get onboarded faster. Then an onboarding confirmation page with the next steps. So next steps video and access their Gmail so that they can get the invite to the Discord channel where we host everything. As soon as they join the Discord, they get a one-on-one channel created automatically so we can have one-on-one access to them and talk with them, etc., with all the other coaches inside of there to get as well. Then they automatically get their personal Notion created as well to host all their data so everything is centralized with a to-do list so we can see what they're doing step by step every single day as well. Then finally, their onboarding call right away within the next few days once all this stuff is filled out so that we can get them, again, hitting the ground running from day one, set up as fast as possible with as much organization as possible as well. Then one quick thing as well, we use this onboarding information to create content ideas. All these questions that we ask them, you can pause this if you want to and read these. We get all this information from them, asking them, why they bought from us, what pieces of content made them buy, what they like about us, what they didn't like about us, etc. Getting looms on that. That way we have all this information. We can then go ahead and create content ideas around, which is honestly overpowered because the guys who buy from you are the guys that you want to target. So then we get information from them. Then you can just target them again through the content. It's genuinely insane. So that is the onboarding process. Now let's get into the service delivery. Hopefully you already understand the importance of service delivery. If you don't, this is single-handedly the most important part of everything. If you don't have good service delivery, you are basically running a scam. If on the upside, if you have good service delivery, the top two benefits are, number one, students get good results, which means that you can then use these results and leverage them to get more students through content. And number two, you create a referral heaven. And if you're doing split payments, the rate of you actually getting the full finished payment is way higher. So what do I do for service delivery? I have a few things in place, which I'll explain. Kind of went over these a little bit just a second ago, but number one is the product tracking system and automations, which manages the student progress and delivery at scale. So I can look inside of here and automatically see where every single student is at in terms of week-wise. I can see how much revenue we've collected from them, how much cash we've collected from them. I can see their name, their email, etc. And very importantly as well, I can see all the one-on-one calls that they have had. So as you can see inside of here, like for example, you can see, what kind of call it was, what the date was, and then the link for the call is right here internally so that we can see all their call recordings and have context into where they are in terms of situation-wise, etc. The way that we do this is through a form. So literally it's an automation where basically after every single one-on-one call we have with the student, we just fill out their Airtip email, the type of call that it was, the call recording link, and the date of the call. And then it'll automatically add into their record instead of Airtable, and then automatically add into their Notion so that they can have all these call recordings as well. No manual stuff on my end. It's literally just the form and it updates inside of there. This way, again, we can see where they're at and then they have all their call recordings here. This is amazing to have for centralization and organization. Then we have the Notion database, which is kind of shown right here, where it has all the program assets, SOPs, student info, and internal documentation as well. So here we have their vision. So it's like, okay, what is your vision? We have them dial in on that first before going through any of the course content, going through some mindset stuff and identity shifting, etc. Because I think that is so important before actually doing the work. Then there's student roadmap. So what does the next, 3 months inside the program look like? Their content onboarding. So we help them with content. So it's like, we need this information to help you with content. There's some licensing systems inside of here. So templates, etc. Here's where all their clients are. So we can have information on their clients to help them scale them. Their call recordings are here, etc. And then if they're making content, they have this stuff over here as well with their entire to-do list too. So we can see where they're at inside of the program as well. Then we have the Discord organization. So this is how the server is structured to deliver the best community experience for our students. We have announcements for our calls, daily gems. We drop voice notes inside of here for daily gems that we learn, whatever it is, copy reviews, wins, mastermind, and then chats for each specific part of the business model. And then a becoming him channel, which is basically just like, you're locked in, you're going to the gym. It's just improvement outside of business. It's a cool thing to have for community wise. A lounge where they can talk with each other and us. And then also a one-on-one chat as well. I have been in a few mentorships and I've been in some that didn't have these. I've been in some that do have these. I personally loved it when there was a one-on-one chat that I could talk directly to the team rather than just being group chats, if that makes sense. So I implemented it into ours for every student that joins and it is genuinely amazing. You want to push people to talk in the group chats, but when it is kind of more personal or if you need to like motivate them, whatever it is, it's nice to have the one-on-one channel there. Then we have the coaches. So I have a coach for each subsection of the business model. These guys will, there's actually another one, but these guys will take calls, group calls, one-on-one calls. Some of them do that. They have their own specific chats as well, like the group chats up here, for example. If they have backend questions, copywriting questions, there's specific coaches to answer questions inside of those chats. This takes me out of the service delivery a lot because I never really have to check these chats because there's coaches inside of them answering all the questions. Then group calls. This is one very important thing. We have topics rather than just doing Q&A calls. I've been in programs where it's just Q&A every single day, but the problem with that is that you don't know what you don't know. So sometimes it's hard to kind of prompt and ask questions because again, you don't know what you should be asking questions on. So when we do calls, most of the time we're doing topics calls. We have something mapped out ahead of time that we can then go ahead and share a screen and share to the students. They get so much more value out of it this way. And then after the call, we have another form which we'll fill out with the link, whatever it is. And then our VA will go ahead and upload the video into the school with the context for the call as well, so they can go back and watch these videos. One-on-one calls, they also have personalized access as well, where they can hop on calls with us. Again, we fill this form after to organize their calls inside the Notion database and their Airtable as well. And then the school. This is actually interesting because we didn't like initially have a course when we first started. I don't think it's a good idea to start out with a course because you don't know what these people really need at the end of the day. So you can end up making a lot of videos that no one needs in the first place. So the importance of the one-on-one calls is getting so much data out of all the questions that they're, repetitively asking, and then figuring out, okay, how can I put this into the course so that I don't get these questions asked to me anymore? And that is a huge thing when it comes to scaling. You need to figure out a way to get yourself out of the business and, teach these guys how to get the same results without you having to be on one-on-one calls all day. And a huge way to do that is by getting, again, that data from these one-on-one calls and then putting it into the course so that whenever they have this question, you just redirect them there instead. So we have a fat course for these boys with a ton of information on how to make more money. Then this is also huge as well. Done for you templates and SOPs. This is so important rather than just having a coaching program, because so many people literally just have a coaching program. It's just info. Having done for you templates and SOPs will help your offer do 10 times better. There are so many things inside of here. Literally everything that I showed you guys inside this video already. There's SOPs, there's done for you templates to put them in place, whatever it is, the tracking systems, all the automations, the front end stuff, writing the VSLs, all that stuff is all made in, done for you templates and SOPs for them to use, which saves them so much time and is so much more valuable for them. Then finally, the leaderboard system, basically helping students get better results. It creates a competitive environment. Just saying, yo, first place, whoever makes the most money this month is going to get a trip out to come hang out with us for a week. Second place gets some headphones. Third place gets $500 to, set up their setup, whatever it is. This is honestly a really good way to motivate everyone inside the group to make more money, and it makes it pretty fun too. So that is service delivery. Now let's get into the team, which is so important. Now, I still run another business while running this program. This is not something that I could put all my time and energy into or focus, nor do I want to. With that said, I don't have to because of the team that I put in place, which allows me to stay high leverage and genuinely only spend 1 to 2 to 3 hours a day on this business. This is a huge mindset shift that so many coaches need to make, especially if you're making under $50,000 a month and doing everything yourself. Because again, I'm making $50,000 a month in the first stage, the first month of this business, while you're making less doing way more work than me. It's because I understand the power of investing into a team and the rules of 10x. I want you to close your eyes real quick and genuinely close your eyes. Don't ego me and just be looking at me while I'm saying this. Like, this will only work if your eyes are closed. Close them real quick, okay? Think about how much you're making per month with your coaching program. Per month right now, okay? Think about it. Internalize that number. Now, multiply that number by 10 and just think about that number real quick. Just like that number, and that is all you're looking at right now. Internalize that. Now ask yourself, are you the sole operator at that income level? Do you have a team at this point? What team members are those if you do have a team? What exactly are you outsourcing? How high leverage are you now, and what are you doing day to day? You can open your eyes now. Most coaches get stuck in the mindset of double down and 2x, but 2x just means work harder. The 10x mindset forces you to think about how you can work different, work smarter, and who can do the work for you. Me personally, I went from $10,000 a month to $100,000 a month in 2 months. And I can tell you right now, 10xing is easier, less stressful, and more fun than trying to 2x your business. So with this said, now you understand this, who are the team members that I have in place to help me scale my offer and get me out of the business? I have a copywriter for scaling. Their role is writing copy, funnel copy, VSL, post booking page, pre-call assets, pre-call emails, newsletter, Instagram stories, etc. I have a VA to keep me high leverage. They do backend automations, funnel builds, designs, Miro board building, minute tasks, designing plus posting Instagram stories, etc. Then a creative director for content. Their role is directing content and the brand. So finding winning formats, doing competitor research, coming up with ideas for content. I did just onboard this creative director. So everything you've seen before this was just me, but I am using this now. So I'm very excited to see how this goes. Next, we have a scriptwriter for content. Their role is scripting content. So scripting the short form and long form content. Editor, obviously for content, editing the short form and long form content once it is filmed. And then DM setter for sales. They manage the DMs. We went over this, qualifying inbound leads and booking them on calls, also doing outbounds for extra lead flow. Now, finally, we have scaling. You now have the information on how I did $50,000 my first month coaching, but how am I going to be scaling from here to 6 figures plus per month in the next few months? Number one is I'm going to be changing my market. I'm still going to work with this market, but I'm pushing this market more. The current market I'm working in is, kind of broke. I could easily push this to 6 figures per month, but just longer term, it's not as scalable as this market over here, which is coaching for coaches, which is what I'm upgrading to. The coaching market is bigger and higher quality. So switching to it now means I can make way more money long-term instead of targeting growth operators. I have created very recently a new offer for coaches. So maybe your situation is a little bit similar and you can make way more money in an upgraded market. Just think about it. Example, there are tons of fitness coaches who did fitness coaching and got capped at, 10, 20, 30K a month, then switched to coaching fitness coaches and made way more money doing the same thing. And also I'm going to be getting into follower ads since my content ecosystem is dialed. My Instagram page is structured correctly like a landing page and, everything is dialed like there's no leaks anywhere. So running follower ads will just add more fuel to the system that is already working. And I've run these for clients before and they've absolutely ripped if you do them right. So with that said, I'm going to be documenting this entire journey of me scaling this offer that I'm talking about right now, me coaching coaches and even doing some done for you aspects for them as well. So subscribe to this channel if you want to follow along the journey. I'm dropping everything that I'm learning along the way and things that I have learned already from scaling these offers to 6 figures per month, my own offer to 50K a month and on, etc. I also am dropping a ton of stuff on Instagram. So make sure you subscribe. You can also follow me on Instagram where I'm dropping behind the scenes daily, and drop a comment below if you found value. Genuinely, I'm curious to see if you guys did learn from this and if you guys want more videos coming up in the future. And one last thing for the coaches, I did again just start a new offer helping coaches with a done for you build on the front end or just consulting depending on what offer you want. But everything above that I talked about in this video, the content ecosystem and the whole entire offer ecosystem as well, would literally build it out for you or consult you on how to build it for yourself. So if you're interested in that, you are again a serious coach that is looking to scale now and you have the budget set aside to invest and you're willing to invest in yourself, you could book a call in the first link in the description. But that's it for now, guys. I genuinely hope you guys like this video. I'm excited to get this one out. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace and love.